If I'm ever stuck on the planet Mars, I hope I'm fighting green Martian Tharks, trying to rescue the scantily clad, buxom Princess of Mars, Dejah Thoris. Not having to calculate how much I need to poop to mix with Martian soil to grow potatoes so that I don't die. Anyway, I'm Captain Mike. This is Whiskey and Witerature. I talk about whiskey and books, and today it is The Martian by Andy Weir. He's an American novelist born in 1972, which is a pretty great year to be born in. And he had various other jobs before he turned novelist. Initially, he was releasing his books like in serial format online until The Martian hit like bestseller on the Kindle, and he was discovered by an agent, and here we are. The Martian was released in novel format in 2014. My copy has 369 pages long. It sits squarely into the hard science fiction category, meaning that it tries to throw away any mystical elements, like there's no force. It tries to be as realistic and scientific as possible. And I'm no scientist or astronaut, so I don't really know, but my understanding is it does take a fairly realistic view of things. There is an audible version of this book, and I didn't listen to it at all. And no, it is not narrated by Matt Damon, which is too bad. I have listened to a couple of books, narrations from Sissy Spacek and Rosamund Pike, who both play characters in the adaptations of the novels that they narrated, which I thought was pretty cool. And speaking of Matt Damon, yes, of course, there is the movie, and I have seen it, though, quite a while ago, and I really resisted watching it again until after I finish this review. Whenever I do this type of book that has an adaptation, I always wait until, so it doesn't cloud my view of the book. There are 3 sets of characters in The Martian. We have the NASA astronauts, the engineers, the management people, and just the regular people on Earth who are watching this drama unfold. We have the crew of the Ares 3 mission who unwittingly left Mark behind. And we have Mark Watney, botanist and sole inhabitant of the planet Mars. Let's talk about the plot briefly. The Ares 3 mission to Mars is beset by a sand and windstorm, and their escape vehicle is in danger of being toppled. So they abandon the mission and make it back to the escape vehicle and launch, except for Mark Watney, because he is thrown away and his suit is damaged, his radio is damaged, and the rest of the crew, they don't get any life signals from his suit because it's damaged, and assume he has died and leave him stranded. So right when the book begins, Mark knows this. He knows he's been left behind on Mars. And he knows that the next mission doesn't land at Mars for 4 years. So what does he do? What would you do in this situation? And I like books that are set up like that and to make you think. I mean, I'm not an astronaut or a scientist, so I know I have no skills that would help me in this situation. But I just still do think, like, what would my mindset be? How would I take it? You know, that part. What would you do? Well, Mark, he decides to live. So he makes it back to the habitat and he takes stock of the situation. He's not in any immediate danger, but he has to figure some things out to survive, and he decides to science his way through. His immediate, though not critical, needs are food and water. And so that means potatoes, and that means soil and water. So after food, he just lines his problems up one by one and just starts knocking them down as best he can. Meanwhile, back on Earth, NASA has realized through satellite imagery that Mark is still alive, and they marshal their full force of everything they have to figure out a way to rescue or send stuff to him. And on the Ares 3 ship, that crew, they deal with the guilt of abandoning Mark as they travel back home. So basically that's the setup. And the question is, can he survive long enough? And the other question is, do we care? Okay, on to my thoughts after we have some Jack Daniel's Gold, number 27. Just a sip. Okay, my thoughts. I like sci-fi. Old school, new school, it doesn't matter. I love it. From Frankenstein to Dune to Pandora's Star. Please, I'm a fan. I told myself I wanted to read more sci-fi this year, but I didn't want to commit to any more series. So I just kind of searched standalone sci-fi books, and The Martian came up. I've seen the movie. I remember I liked it, and so I decided to give it a go. In media res is a Latin phrase for a narrative technique meaning in the middle of things. So something starts in the middle of it, and The Martian starts in the middle of it. I mean, from the very first page. And I think it's a really nice setup. It's the kind of thing you could see happening, right? You spend billions of dollars, spends years in preparation. You travel all the way to Mars, this big, huge thing, and you're supposed to spend all this time doing these experiments, and it gets derailed pretty quickly by a sandstorm. Like, I feel like it's a pretty realistic, and it's a nice setup. And this whole project you have, it gets derailed by something from nature. And the book, The Martian, it gets derailed by a couple of things. Mainly, the issue for me is how Mark is written. I do like how there's a lack of descriptors for almost all of the characters. And that allows you, the reader, to put yourself in their shoes, or people you know, or imagine them however you will. And I think that is a great technique that authors use. And obviously Mark, he's great at solving puzzles and sciencing his way through things. But this continual word problem science experiments that keep popping up, and then he just knocks them down one after the other, you know, it just becomes dry and cumbersome. I don't really care. I'm not interested. It's just too dry. There's too much explanation. I think giving minute details and overanalyzing and sharing, it's a trap. It's a trap that some authors, they fall into. I mean, I don't really care how the transporter beams up Scotty or how a lightsaber cuts. They just do. I don't really care about Mark because I don't know him. I mean, being able in a critical situation to disassociate yourself from the situation is an asset to that guy who is in the situation. But it makes for a dry and boring read to a guy who's reading about the guy who's in the situation. Because the best stories, they're spiced with emotion. It's intimate moments of introspection. And we don't get any of that from Mark. I mean, the first half of the book, I preferred when we weren't with Mark. I mean, because the people on Earth, they're worried. The crew on the ship, they feel guilt. The characters, besides Mark, they have character. They're interesting. I did prefer the second half of the book. Maybe it's less sciencey, or maybe we spend less time with Mark, or it's because Mark is out and about and he's doing things that aren't quite so sciencey, and I find that more interesting. I'm not really sure. Like, honestly, in the end, I didn't even care if Mark made it, because I didn't even know if Mark cared if he made it. I don't DNF books very often, but I came pretty close with The Martian. If you like science fiction, or you want to, like I love science fiction, then look elsewhere. There are such wonderful books out there to read. Okay, we're going to give The Martian a star rating, and I judge all books on 5 criteria, 6 if I listen to it on Audible, and I did not listen to The Martian. Here we go. Initial reaction. How do I feel when I first finished the book? And I gave it a 3, mainly because I was glad it was over. A recommendation. How likely am I to recommend this book? 1. There's no one I would recommend this book to. Style. Did I enjoy the writing style? No. I gave it a 2. Characters. Are they relatable, believable, and engaging? Believable, I guess. Some of them maybe a little engaging. I gave it a 3. Plot structure. And I did like the setup. I liked the way we went back and forth from Mark to the other characters. I like how it was like his log entries. There were moments that I enjoyed the plot and the setup. The style of the book was not me. So I gave it a 4. So that's 13. And 13 divided by 5 is 2.6. So 2.6 stars for The Martian by Andy Weir. And I think that's a fairly fair score for me to this book. All right, my guys, I'd love to know what your thoughts are. If you've read The Martian, if you're now not going to read The Martian because of this, I kind of feel bad, but I don't really either. But I'd love to know what your thoughts are on this, or what is your favorite science fiction? Like when I think of great sci-fi, man, I loved Dune. Dune is one of my favorite series. Pandora's Star was great. Man, I really enjoyed book 1 of Altered Carbon. Reading The Expanse, I thought was great. There is some great sci-fi out there. You have the old school stuff, Asimov, Heinlein. I mean, come on, man. Love, love, love sci-fi. All right, guys, if you enjoyed the video, like it. It's free. Subscribe to see more of my content. Again, I talk about whiskey and books. But for now, my friends, you know what to do. I hope you're reading something good, drinking something great, and wearing that damn hat. Cheers.